Good morning. 9 o'clock on the dot. Now, that doesn't account for doing this stuff, so I guess I got to start a few minutes early. All right, we are good to go. Good morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Okay, all right. Let's get started. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today's the first day of doing this differently, even though nobody's going to really see any difference. I had a lot of people ask about seeing this, but they're a little bit older, right? And they don't want Facebook. So they're okay with YouTube. So we do this on YouTube also. So before we get started, I'm not really anticipating anybody being here this morning. It's kind of funny. On Saturday, I went to a meeting. And I don't always have time, but I thought it'd be kind of nice to go to a really big meeting, sit back and just kind of, even though it's Zoom, feel it. And it was real small. I'm like, what's going on? Where is everybody? I thought this would be a big meeting. Dion, it's Labor Day. I didn't know. It was Labor Day weekend. So I don't listen. I don't watch the television. I watch TV, but not anything. Yeah. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the radio. So I didn't know. So there it is. Now, I still would have gone whether it was Labor Day weekend or not. Okay. Why? Because I drank on Labor Day. So there you go. Doesn't really matter what day it is. I drank. So that's why we do this. We do this like we should do this like we drank or used. So before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between sobriety and recovery. And this I'm just going to keep real simple. Okay. Sober means that you don't use anymore. Recovery and that's it. That means you just don't use anymore. Okay. And this is good. Congratulations, man. That's good. I think that's a fantastic start. I think it's a great start. Some of us get into this and we find a different way of recovery. And this is especially true of men. Okay. I don't see women do this as often, but men, yeah, we do this. I'm in recovery, motherfucker. Shit like that. Okay. If your anger level's up here, you're not in recovery, you're sober. All right. And you're fucking things up just as much as you were before, just so you know. It may seem like you're doing some good. Okay. But the alcohol and the drugs are a symptom of a disease. Okay. Just like when you have a cold, you might have the sniffles and a cough and a headache. And there's 10 different symptoms that you can have. Okay. Symptom of a disease. Okay. There's a lot of other stuff you're going to need to deal with. Okay. That's where that anger is coming from. You don't want to deal with it. All right. Maybe that's good enough for you. And that's okay. That's cool, man. It's none of my business. But don't be running around telling everybody you're in recovery, because you are not. Right? You can live your life as an example and everything, but don't run around spouting stuff that you don't know anything about. Right, Chris? So where does that come from? Where do you get that time? Work and time. That's the only way that you get this, guys. Okay. I've never seen anybody walk into the rooms and get it right away. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but we're human, man. Okay? We're not gods. We're human. And therefore, sorry I do it. See? But that's it, Chris. You're noticing that difference, though. The difference this is the difference that I see. We can admit that it's going on. So I get angry too. And I do that too, but I have friends that stop me. So it's about I think when we insert humility in there and humbleness in there, it really helps. So well, thank you, Chris. It's the Chris and Dion show today. So if you're not all right the way you are, it's been said, it takes a lot of effort to get better. Realize you're all right the way you are, and you'll get better naturally. There we go. I like that. The more we think about it, the more we get on our own backs for our imagined inadequacy to overcome the situation, and we sink into depression. And there we go. So let's kind of take a look at that. And there we are being human again, right? So really what it comes down to is, I guess the question would be, do we have the tools that we need in order to make the correct decisions? It's not, we go through a lot of crap before we even get here. So for us to put even more on us when we get to this point, when we decide to do this, makes it tougher. Does it happen? Yeah. I mean, life is life, man. And it's going to happen. It's not going to stop just because we got sober. But we really have to watch ourselves. That's why it's important that when we first get into the program, we start doing 90 meetings in 90 days. And we get a sponsor. That's the moment to recall a single phrase, slogan, or a bit of philosophy, saying it over and over again until it replaces the thoughts of the tormenting problem. Okay, let go, let God, let go, let God. I utilize the serenity prayer. Okay, because I know some things are quicker, but that takes my mind. It takes me a little bit longer to do it, so I get a little bit more involved in it. So I repeat the serenity prayer over and over again. I'm going to repeat the last sentence. That's the moment to recall a single phrase, slogan, or a bit of philosophy, saying it over and over again until it replaces the thoughts of the tormenting problem, which in the final analysis will take care of itself. Do I sometimes forget that the thorns have roses? Every rose has its thorn. All right. I did not pick anything out of the big book for this. I need to get here by 9, so let's just I don't want to go right into the middle of a story. Here's no. That's the real alcoholic, right? Okay, let's just go. We of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Bill. So there is a solution right after Bill's story. Nearly all have recovered. They have solved the drink problem. No, I'm not going to get into the recovered. We are average Americans, all sections of country, and many of his occupations are represented, as well as many political, economic, social, and religious backgrounds. We are people who would normally not mix, but there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness, and an understanding which is indescribably wonderful. We are like passengers of a great liner the moment after rescue from shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade the vessel from steerage to captain's table. Unlike the feelings of the ship's passenger, however, our joy in escape from a disaster does not subside as we go our individual ways. The feeling of having shared a common peril is one element in the powerful cement which binds us, but that in itself would never have held us together as we are now joined. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have found out on which way we have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. Now, when they're talking about coming together and talking about a solution that we can all agree upon, they're talking about the first 100 people who wrote this book. Okay, so when 100 people wrote this book, and they all came to a common decision. An illness of this sort, and we came to believe it as an illness, involves those about us and no other human sickness can. There again, the illness of the disease. Then, we have symptoms of a disease, and we need to take care of those symptoms. Just like when I have a cold, I'll take a decongestant, to clear me up, things like that. Depending on what I'm going through is what I'm going to need, whether that's going to be a meeting, a sponsor, God. If a person has cancer, all are sorry for him. No one is angry or hurt, but not so with the alcoholic illness. For with it there goes annihilation of all things worthwhile in life. It engulfs all whose life it touches, the sufferers. It brings misunderstanding, fierce resentment, financial insecurity, disgusted friends and employer, warped lives of blameless children, sad wives of parents. Anyone can increase the list. Not to account for the stigma that goes along with everything that goes with that. We've tried to change stigma by changing the name of alcoholism and addiction to SUD, which stands for substance use disorder. And I'll let you guys know that's not going to change the stigma. Okay. I've seen this tried. I've been doing this since 89, and this would be the third time they've tried it. It's not going to work. It'll happen in our little community of recovery coaches, but then you're going to go say SUD to somebody that's an alcoholic, and they're going to say, what in the fuck are you talking about? And I'm going to tell you, lost them. You already lost them because you're talking over their head. You got to watch that. You got to watch buzzwords and all that other stuff. Talk like a freaking human. Layman's terms. That's how we talk. May I see that God gives us patterns so that we can take comfort in opposites. Day follows night. Silence follows din. Love follows loneliness. Release follows suffering. Am I ineffectual? May I realize it and try to do something constructive. If I am insensitive, may my friends confront me to greater sensitivity. Today I'll remember clouds have linings, problems have endings. Okay. So, there's, tit for tat, good for bad, with one comes the other, you can't have one without the other. I don't feel, for us, we've gone through so many things that have taken us down more in sadness and everything else that we get to go further into being grateful. We get to go further into happiness. We get to feel the joy of being rocketed into the fourth dimension and getting to a place in our lives where we become, instead of becoming the person rampaging through other people's lives or in a really big hurry like this guy. That was a minivan. I don't know if you guys heard the screeching. Last day outside, I'm going to miss it. But we get to feel things bigger because of that. But I think that we need them. We need that in our lives. So, all right, that'll be it for today. I will be back tomorrow for daily reflection. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Love you guys. Have a day. Bye. And peace out. That too.